extracting the DNA sequences from those plants and unlocking all the cures to all these diseases, and now humans can live up to 150 years with full mobility. It's been the most remarkable thing coming out of Africa, and having all that knowledge been seeded out of an African country and having its transformative power change the way how life on this planet is has been truly the most magnificent experience of my life.
Some of the innovations that have scaled out of Africa, particularly East Africa, are one, participatory systems of government where crowdsourcing and on-the-ground participation of citizens is not limited to election cycles.
Remember in the late 2000s, one of the biggest challenges we had was global payments from an African perspective, multinational payment system. I remember going from Nigeria to Senegal and not being able to use my mobile app to pay for goods in Senegal, in Dakar, as I used to do them in Lagos. We finally cracked the thing. We built the system that allowed us to do payments anywhere in Africa. And turns out that that system that unified all of us ended up creating a realistic experience of a Pan-African reality that even our government had to get on board. And we finally created an African Union that was truly Pan-African. Software created an environment that allowed the humans to then follow up on it. And with that software experience, sharing it globally then became something that this is how the world actually now convenes, because we realized that humans can work cooperatively in a software platform that allowed governance to actually really get its effect, all from a software library created by a teenager in Lagos to facilitate payments at a store. Ended up changing how society is organized through collaboration. It's fascinating.
We have financial systems that are seamless, that are Pan-African, that show that if you can connect countries and put together all the systems to enable low fee or zero transaction cost, that this is a system that has scaled and it's something that has come out of Africa. Africa is connected, and more importantly, it's reconnected to itself. The various African countries are a lot more in flow, where you have flow of ideas, flow of enterprise, flow of goods, flow of people.
Going back to the Timbuktu archives, one of my pet peeves in the late 90s, 2000s, especially going home back and forth all over Lagos, was the bizarre architectural patterns that we seem to have taken upon ourselves. A lot of our students back then, a lot of our designers literally went to school in Germany, went to school in England, went to school in France, the United States, and they learned architecture there. And they came back home to Lagos and built these buildings that were not suited for the climate. Buildings that required air conditioning, which means that we have big issues of mold because we have high humidity and we used to have power fluctuations, so we couldn't turn on our air conditioners all the time, and our buildings became moldy. Finally, unlocking the Timbuktu Chronicles, we relearned the ways architecture was designed to be climate adaptive, and we finally started building our buildings in such a way. There have always been architects who wanted to do this. Demas Nwoko was doing it. But the challenge for us was we couldn't find the raw materials and we couldn't scale it, because some of the knowledge was lost to us. But we unlocked that knowledge in the Timbuktu archives, and now we've scaled the manufacture, and we actually then have this new buildings that don't require air conditioning. We're doing geothermal, everything is cooled naturally. And finally, Lagos looks beautiful. We have less noise pollution because we are not on generators. We solved the electricity, thank God. And it's now an architecturally designed city that works for the climate as well as the lives of the people. That was one of the things that we've solved. And we did it so well that we allowed it to go everywhere else in the world where architecture then adapts to the environment of the people. And it's no longer like a globalization thing where one size fits all. The world looks incredibly beautiful. It's not a box store anymore.
The laser pointer of human collaboration, of tech-enabled governance, tech-enabled public participation. We see a world, a continent that is forging and has forged forward by really pointing the laser focus on actual problems and solving them effectively for the betterment of everyone on the continent.
Ended up changing how society is organized through collaboration. It's fascinating. Finally created an African Union that was truly Pan-African. The things that the Europeans were trying to do with the EU, we finally achieved it in Africa through software. Software created an environment that allowed the humans to then follow up on it. And with that software experience, sharing it globally then became something that this is how the world actually now convenes, because we realized that humans can work cooperatively in a software platform that allowed governance to actually really get its effect, all from a software library created by a teenager in Lagos to facilitate payments at a store. Ended up changing how society is organized through collaboration. It's fascinating. We finally created an African Union